Phase 3 brings a solid power increase for the Resto Druid. In this video, I will call out tips for BWL parsing. I'll also share the ways that Tier 2 brings about additional healing capability for the Resto Druid, and my top 5 items to prioritize for soft reses or loot prior lists, and more. As a note, prior to beginning, if you watch my endgame guide from January, you will remember how I shared that I don't use regrowth on Classic Era. It's a mana-intensive spell, and with Wuxele's Charm of Nature, you can heal Parse with 40% increased casting speed on max rank healing touches. Well, due to heal sniping being the name of the game this early on, max rank regrowth is the parsing spell in these early phases. The best parses you will see in this phase will be for guilds who have extremely short boss kill times, where the druid uses max rank regrowth. Now, it's extraordinarily mana intensive. With an Arcane Intellect buff, I think I can toss out 6 max rank regrowth before I'm out of mana. So if you're if you're in a guild whose boss kill times are quick enough where you just can cast 6 spells and you're good to go, use regrowth. So heal parsing is really dependent on your kill times and being a little bit faster than your pallies or priests. I will say Healing Touch rank 4 is way more mana efficient and doesn't leave you feeling out of mana as regrowth does. But until we have raids where players are taking more damage and it is less heal snipey, if you will, and also until the Edge of Madness trinket with Wuxele's Charm comes out, regrowth is going to be the healing parsing spell. So just heads up there. These are my tips for parsing in BWL as you move into Phase 3. The first is Razor Gore. Parses for Razor Gore only count the healing done in Phase 2 after all the eggs have been finished breaking. So do your best to be at close to full mana heading into Phase 2 in order to toss out max rank regrowths. Razor Gore is typically a straight up heal sniping battle for parses, so make sure to use your max rank spells and your nature swiftness paired with your max rank healing touch. Veilstraz. I'm going to use the second spec or my dual spec as a Nature's Grace plus 5 out of 5 regrowth talent build. With over 50% crit on regrowth, Nature's Grace will reduce the cast time by 0.5 seconds, leaving you with a bunch of regrowths at 1.5 seconds. This is great for Veil because you have essentially infinite mana for the encounter. So with a crit on regrowth, you will be able to have the fastest casted heal and regrowth compared to Flash of Light or Flash Heal from either your Paladins or Priests. When you get the 5-piece Tier 2, your regrowth cast speed will be reduced by an additional 0.2 seconds, making regrowths with Nature's Grace a 1.3 second cast. Now, this does interfere with the global cooldown, but when casted at the exact same time as a Flash of Light or Flash Heal on a target, the regrowth is quicker and can best snipe heals compared to any other healer in the game. So this is a great kind of spec with the 5 out of 5 regrowth with Nature's Grace, especially with 5-piece Tier 2 on Veil. Broodlord. The tank is going to be bombed with heals until he does the Blast Wave to people in DPS range. While it may be tempting to throw out a bunch of rejuves prior to Blast Wave coming out, more times than not, Chain Heal or Priest Prayers will top up groups too quick for your rejuves to take good effect. I would regrowth melee targets when Blast Wave hits here. Okay, Firemaw. This is Rejuvenation's time to shine, especially when you get 8 out of 8 Tier 2. If you're on tank healing, sorry, this is not nearly as fun for heal parsing, but when it comes to raid healing, throwing out rejuves on all melee targets, range DPS casters, totally great. People take a lot of damage in this encounter, and Rejuvenation really shines. The Loot Pinata Drakes. Honestly, this is just a heal sniping battle. If you're gonna parse, you're either lucky to like get hit with the right individuals, or maybe a caveat would be on Flame Gore. You can heal parse if you have hunters that don't use Trank Shot. So which is terrible raid execution, and I don't recommend it by any means. But any 99s that you see on Flame Gore will be absolutely because of bad raids, and they're not executing regular mechanics such as tranking the boss when it's enraged and everybody taking a bunch of damage. So once again, that's a perfect example where heal parsing is so meaningless and is honestly a terrible measure of your performance because it wasn't anything you did per se, but it was because of how bad your hunters were or the raid was. Chromagus. You'll likely be on decurse duty for this, and that's totally cool. The main player going to be taking damage is the tank, so you're going to be able to toss out decurses, while you're weaving in heals on the main tank. Make sure to time your bigger heals when Chromag gets enraged, both via not being tranked or the second or two before he does get tranked, or at the end rage, which happens at either 20 or 30%. So just make sure to keep your nature's swiftness, max rank, healing touch macro for that enrage at the end of the encounter. Nefarian, phase 1 healing does not count towards your parse. Make sure to go into phase 2 with full mana, and the primary person taking damage will be the tank. So make sure to decurse the tank as well. All right, here are some notes about the tier 2 bonuses. The tier 2 set is a great set and brings about 3 solid set bonuses. They all have their place within the raid environment. The 3 set is excellent for mana efficiency. It allows you to have 15% mana regen while casting, and I love this especially for trash healing. You know, when we get to AQ in particular, there's some really nasty trash packs that deal a lot of damage, and having the 3 set's really nice to be able to get that extra mana regen as you're going through the instance. Especially, you know, you're going to be going into Nax, you will have the 3 set on week 1 for Nax, absolutely. The mana regen is really, really nice. The 5 set is excellent for heal sniping. I shared this earlier, but reducing your regrowth cast by 0.2 seconds. This 5 set paired with the spec Talented into Nature's Grace and 5 out of 5 improved regrowth makes the cast 1.3 seconds. It's the fastest cast in a raid setting after you get a crit. Now, this does have some issues interacting with the GCD, as mentioned earlier, when I was talking about Veil Straz, but it is still good to use for beating out a flash heal or flash of light. Now the 8 set. The 8 set is phenomenal. It's one of my favorites. The 8 set increases your rejuvenation by 3 seconds or one extra tick. That's 25% increased length of your rejuvenation on a target. This is best used for fights with lots of raid damage where your rejuve can continue to have effective heals. Primarily think about Firemaw, Visitus in a future phase, and Saffron. They're the primary candidates. If your group is struggling with Techie Packs and BWL and taking a lot of damage, the 8 out of 8 set is great for this. The post-Twin Ems Trash and AQ is another area where the set really shines. You'll always have the full tier 2 set in your bags from here on out in vanilla rating. All right, this is my personal list of the highest priority items to get in the BWL phase. And no, I will not include tier on this list. Number 1, it's Rejuve Gem. It's the biggest item you can get in this phase. It's a fantastic trinket used for the rest of the game. Now, it's got like a 20% drop chance in BWL, based upon its drop rate up to 2 Drakes. And you have a lot of healers. Every single healer wants this item. So it is highly coveted. It is highly contested. If you can get it, whew, congrats. It's huge. The next is Empowered Leggings. But Prunes, I have my tier 2 pants, and you said I'm going to use my tier 2 set for the rest of the game. Yes, that's true, but for the majority of encounters moving forward, you won't be necessarily wearing 8 out of 8 tier 2 always. And this comes more into play with AQ gear and with Nax gear for sure. These are the highest plus healing power legs in the game, and they are better than tier 3 pants. There is strong competition on these as they're cloth and all healers can use it, but good luck on getting it. Third is the Boots of Pure Thought. These are the highest plus healing power boots in the game for the Druid. Now, these have evaded me forever on Classic Era and are extremely rare to get off of trash. And honestly, I could have put this as my number 2 item over Empowered Leggings. As you can see, as we will probably get more Empowered Leggings in a raid versus Boots of Pure Thought. But I went ahead and put Empowered Leggings regardless as number 2 and Boots of Pure Thought as number 3. Number 4 is Pure Elementium Band, or PEB. This is a juicy ring. This is the best ring, up until this point in time, for sure. I consider this Ring of the Martyr in AQ and Band of Unanswered Prayers and Nax all your quote-unquote BIS rings. Any combination of 2 of those 3, and you have, BIS, essentially. Now, if you don't get PEB, you also have these other 2 options down the road. So there are, other alternatives, and that's why I put Pure Elementium Band lower on my list here, and it's number 4 because you can get other things that will, quote unquote, take its place. Versus Rejuve Gem, you always want, Empowered Legs, you always want. If you're able to get Boots of Pure Thought, you're always gonna have those with you and wear them. The last would be either Locomere or Claw of Chromagus. I put this as number 5. Locomere is absolutely the best weapon you can get in this phase. And Claw of Chromagus is not as good, but also very strong. And getting either of these in this phase is really great. But I will say, ZG will come out in the next probably 6 to 8 weeks, and Jindo's Hexer becomes available next phase. Now, Jindo's Hexer is not as strong as either of these items, but it's pretty equivalent, and it's a lot easier to get than any of these items. It will become, really not too hard to get, especially because DG resets every 3 days. So you have another weapon upgrade available not too far in the future. And especially as you go into AQ, getting the two-handed staff, or if you're able to get Scepter of the False Prophet, there are other items that are coming down the road that will replace Locomira Claw of Chromagus. So this is number 5 on the list. These are both big upgrades, absolutely, but ultimately there are plenty of other options coming soon, TM, that you'll be able to get as well that would replace these. All right, that's it, at least for this video. Best of luck in Phase 3 as you head into BWL. I hope you get all the orange and pink parses that you're looking for. Enjoy the new tier set bonuses. They're really solid. And, we are one phase closer to Phase 4 with Wuxulei's Charm of Nature, where things will start to get really fun for the Resto Druid. Thanks for tuning in.